I honestly don't know what to think about this thing. It's off a little. That one's off a little. They're never going to come in alignment. Like, they are a good 2 inches off. You've got to be really careful, and it's very risky when you buy used farm equipment. Well, I did a thing this weekend. Well, let me rephrase that. I bought a thing this weekend. Now, these things are crazy expensive new, and I've been keeping my eye out on Facebook Marketplace for, I would say, several years, but definitely a lot here in the last 6 months. And one came up for sale, and I had to jump on it. Now, they said they could load this for me, but I'm not sure how I would unload it without it being on back of the tractor. So I'm just going to take my tractor over there.
Okay.
What we have here is a genuine no-till drill. And it's not to be confused with a regular grain drill that has to have the land tilled ahead of time. Because of the way that it sets the seeds, it can't cut through clippings or debris or stalks or anything like that. This is designed to, no kidding, till on the ground behind me. You see just a green pasture behind me, or let's say a field that's been harvested. You can come in and drill seed right after that with no more tillage. And the way it does that is with this extra set of coulters up here. A typical grain drill will just have either a single disc back here, or in this case, it's a double disc that creates a V in the soil. But that needs to be on a regular drill in tilled soil where it's soft enough for these to work. What these coulters do up here, and they're spring loaded, so they put a lot of pressure down. And also this is designed to put extra weight up here, again, to put pressure down if you got to cut through a bunch of thatch or some hard soil that maybe hasn't had moisture in a while. This, with its wavy design, is made to rip a furrow and make that furrow a little bit wider than, say, a straight disc. And then these two discs can then open up that furrow wider and drop the seed through a seed tube that's measured up here with guides all along here. You've got little feeders into these seed tubes. And this set of coulters up here is what separates a no-till drill from a regular drill. And also it's a double disc opener drill, which a lot of drills, like I said, have one disc, and they just kind of disturb the soil and drop the grain behind it. This actually makes a path with that V. And I'll demonstrate one pass with this because I've got a bare spot over here, but I can't do any tillage today because we've had a lot of rain and these things aren't designed really to work well in mud. So back here you have this packer bar. It's kind of like a cultipacker, but it's not. And this is what drives everything. So as this hits the ground and turns, but as this turns, it'll drive this pulley, which will drive that pulley up there, which is your front seed box. And on the other side, there's the same setup, which will drive your back seed box. And what's great about this is it's stainless steel, so you can put fertilizer in one of the boxes and seed in the other, and then you can put your fertilizer and your seed in that same exact furrow. Now, the best no-till drills are going to have a pack wheel. That's a wheel back here, and it is going to be directly in line of those discs. And every one of these 10 rows that this can put out, it'll pack it right exactly where it created the slot in the soil. This doesn't do that, and that's one of the downfalls of this one. But you're not going to find packing wheel setups on many no-till drills that are under $30,000. This is an LMC Ag. It's used. The guy has done 100 or so acres with it. But this retails at about $11,000, $11,500. You can get it cheaper on sale, but that's the retail price. And then Tar River makes one with press wheels that is lighter duty than this one. That's about $7,500. So I paid $4,000 for this. I just felt that that was a good deal, even though this one has a little bit of wear on it. And on this side, like we mentioned, this will turn this gear, which will turn this back seed box. And over here you see you have adjustments to put more pressure down on those coulters. You have adjustments to put more pressure down on this cultipacker back here. So it's real easy to get up here and to put seed in here. It's got a nice step, and then I'll show you the inside. So there's two separate stainless steel boxes. And you can close off these ports easy enough if you want to put, say, soybeans or something in here, and you don't want them every 8 or 10 inches apart. You want them like 20 inches apart. Maybe you want corn as well. You could plug them up. And that's easy to do over here with these little flaps. You just push that flap in and it closes that off, or you pull it out. It makes it real easy to see if you've got all 10 open or if any of them are closed. Another neat feature is on the dual disc openers, they have these scrapers on either side, and those scrapers keep mud from accumulating. So that's a real good option as well. And you don't have to fill both these hoppers up. You could just use that hopper if you wanted. Now I'm interested to see how this thing works, so I'm going to just go across that bare spot over there and just see how well it cuts and it packs. And the horsepower requirement for this one, they say is 35, and for their smaller one, which is I think a 60-inch instead of a 72, they say 30 horsepower. But it's 1,400 pounds, and you can put weight on it for harder ground. So I don't know. I think 35 horsepower might not be enough for this in certain conditions. Now I just got this thing a few minutes ago, so I'm gonna have to learn things about it, but for right now I just dropped it and I'm going. Now I'm looking at everything to see if it's turning. We created a little bit of a furrow with the front coulter, but the back one is not even close to hitting, is not even close to going down and creating a furrow for the seed. Like I can see where this one hit that dirt. I don't think it's lined up. By that I mean I don't think those coulters in the front that are making the first pass. Now this one might be. It's off a little. That one's off a little. So what I'm going to have to do is get those back in line so that when the first coulter makes the first cut, the double disc opener goes in that same furrow, because right now it just doesn't. So here's a prime example. You can see that the first coulter went through and cut this right here, and then the double disc opener is over here on the side. You can see where it was just kind of riding on top. And if you look down the line here, this should be lined up back there with that double disc, and the center of that double disc is the center of that bolt. So what my eye is telling me is that this right here has to go that way, a 1/4 of an inch or more. And then if you look at this one down on the ground, that's your double disc mark, and there's your coulter mark. This one's off by a couple of inches. So there's the front coulter, and there's the double disc opener. And watch as I slide across here. They're never going to come in alignment. Like, they are a good 2 inches off. So that seed that comes out in between this double disc opener is just going to be on top of the ground, because it's not going where that front coulter went and cut the ground initially. So there's a lot of adjustment that needs to be done here. And it's really apparent in the spacing, and we can measure and get everything lined up perfectly. But if you see this spacing and that spacing with the U-bolts and that spacing, look at these two. This one needs to go that way, and that one needs to go that way. And one of them is loose, like hand loose. You can actually see where the threads are loose here. A lot of it is adjustment, and then it'll work good enough, but in order to get it back to its original working shape, I'm going to have to buy quite a few parts. So I'm going to take it apart and clean it up real good, get everything in alignment, and show you a little bit of that process, and then hopefully plant before the end of this video, assuming I can get it working correctly. I've been working on this for 2 days now. I'm into my second full day of working on it, and as I go back and think about, would I buy this again used for the amount I bought it for, I think I would, because even though I'm going to have a lot of labor time in here and a few parts that I have to replace, I'm still going to be way cheaper than buying a new one. So here's what I'm doing. I'm taking the square and I'm putting it on the frame of the metal. The coulters are exactly at 7.5 inches, the best they can be, given the fact they have a little bit of play. And I put my square there, and then I take the double disc opener, or where the seed's gonna go, and I take this little ball peen hammer, and I sight down the line there to the middle of that U-bolt. And when I can look down here and see that coulter is aligned with that U-bolt, then I leave it like that and go down to the next one, and then I crawl underneath it and make sure that they're in line. I want to get it in tip-top shape so that I never have to do this again. Well, here's the update. I had to put $350 worth of parts on order, and I don't think I'm done yet. And Deb was asking me the other night, she said, do you regret buying it? And I don't. By the time I'm done with it, I'm going to have less than $5,000 into it. A new one, the cheapest you can buy a new one is $8,500 plus tax, plus probably shipping. So I'm money ahead there, but this is always the danger of buying used equipment. And whether I keep it for 10 years or I sell it next year, at least I'll know it's in perfect working condition. Luckily, I called LMC Ag up directly, got a great guy, very knowledgeable about this planter, told him all the parts I needed. And a lot of the parts that I need are due to using fertilizer in that front box. So I got a lot of parts to replace the corroded parts. You want to see what $350 in farm equipment parts buys you? I've been waiting for these for a while because I need these to put together the seed drill. I got the new drill head put on there, and that created challenges just like everything else has on this planter. But all the front coulters are on, spaced and tightened. All the double disc openers are on, spaced and tightened. I put some blue tape here because we're going to go out in the field and see if these things line up now. And if they don't, I'm just going to take a marker and say this needs to go that way, that needs to go that way. And hopefully there's not a lot of adjustment there. Okay, here we go. About 2 weeks later from the beginning of this video when we tested it and it was off. Let's see how close I got it. I honestly don't know what to think about this thing. If that was planting right there, I mean, this ground is a little hard, but still, it hardly scratched the ground. But I think the good news is most of these are lined up. So I didn't like that. So I came back here to an actual planting environment. So this is my 1 acre food plot. It's got iron clay peas in it. They're about 18 inches tall or so. And this ground is softer, let's just call it. And I can definitely see which ones are off better here. And I also am getting a better feeling that it'll work, because where I tried it alongside the driveway, that's packed clay and it's dry. So even though it's a no-till planter, you're going to have to have ideal planting conditions where if it's hard packed clay or hard packed land, you're going to have some moisture and a whole lot of weight. So I've got some suitcase weights, some tractor suitcase weights from GoodWorks Tractor I can put on there. That'll give me, I think, 540 pounds. And I've got a mud mixer that makes concrete automatically, and I think I can make concrete blocks. So I'm going to have to do a lot of that type of stuff, but I am starting to feel more positive about this planter. It cut through here, and the double disc openers, for the most part, followed the ripping coulters. I've got a marker, so I'm going to try and translate what I'm seeing here on the ground to that blue tape that I put there on the tractor or on the planter. But now I know to make those adjustments, and she'll be right on. She'll be as close as the guys out at LMC Ag could have got it. Now I understand everyone has to make a living, but this was ridiculous. So this is what I got today, this box of parts. I couldn't find the U-bolts locally to hold that pipe on, so I decided to get them right from the manufacturer, and they weren't too bad. $17, I think, a piece for them. And I got 2 of them, 1 for each side. I almost bought 4. And then when I was putting together the new grain drill head, I kind of messed up the threads. So in case that fails, I wanted to get a new piece there and then the nuts that go on that. Well, this is the reason that you've got to be really careful, and it's very risky when you buy used farm equipment. The parts themselves are not that expensive, but they charged me 3% for credit card. There's no other way to pay besides credit card. $39 to ship these. And it wasn't even like it was overnight. I've been waiting over a week for them. So this right here cost me $93, in addition to the $400 and I think $11 from the last order, in addition to the other things I've invested in my time and money, and the initial purchase price of the grain drill at $4,000. So it's adding up. I'm still way money ahead, but I'm a little bit bitter about how much they charged me to ship that little box. And she's ready to plant. Like, she's probably just as good as she was when she was new. I'm glad to have that packer bar on there, or the furrow cover, or whatever you want to call it, because otherwise you wouldn't cover the seeds real well. So I'm not going to plant with it today, but I do have a place where I can lay down a couple strips with it. I can go back and forth, kind of check, make sure everything's perfectly in alignment, and then I'll be ready to plant as soon as we cut our hay. I'm just going to go for it as if I was planting, and then come back and look at the furrows and everything, just as if it was seeding. Do a quick check just to see how's everything lining up. I mean, it's scratching a little bit. I mean, it's covering a little bit. I think that's good. Doesn't need to be that much. But coulters, cutting, going right to seed head. Now, one thing I'm thinking, because I have to use it in such tight spaces, is that maybe it's too big for me. I've said that about the tractor as well. We just have a lot of tight spaces to plant and brush hog. So I'm going to use it, check it out, but I may actually sell it and buy a smaller one. I just don't know yet. I think we got a good place up here where we can see in the dirt how well it did. And one thing I did notice is that you got to pick it up and drop it at the end of each row. You can't turn with it, and that even when you're trying to do straight rows, it's turning a little bit. So when it's turning a little bit like here, then it's not going to be perfectly in alignment. But let's check the alignment right here. Okay. So that looks pretty perfect in that one. There's only one cut. Looks like the double disc went through there. That one might be a little bit off, but still, it disturbed the ground. Like right there, that's the divot that it made. Went up to my finger about that far. And it didn't cover it up, but over here it covered it up. So you can still see that there's a little bit of alignment that's off here. There's a little bit of alignment that's off there. For the most part, it looks like it would have dropped a seed right in the opening. And honestly, I think that's as close as I can get it. I could sit there and fiddle with it, moving it 1/16 of an inch back and forth, but I think I got it dialed in as much as it can be, and I can't wait to plant with it. So stay tuned, because those planting videos will be coming up as soon as we cut our hay, because we want to make our pasture just as thick and lush as it can be to make hay and also to feed the cows. But until next time, remember, life's short, tractor hard, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care, guys.